Left out of my sister's wedding to keep the peace, I booked a solo vacation. When everything fell apart, my family came crawling back. You have to help fix this. I heard that if you don't subscribe, your ex is going to haunt you till the end of your days. I personally wouldn't risk it. I'm Jenna, 31 years old, and I never imagined my younger sister's wedding would become the turning point that shattered what little peace my family had left. It all started when I was removed from the guest list. Honestly, I should have seen it coming. My family has always been a bit chaotic, constant petty arguments, emotional outbursts, silent feuds. But this time it wasn't just drama. It felt targeted. Let me back up. My sister, Chloe, and I were never exactly close. We've had typical sibling ups and downs over the years, but things really started unraveling after she got engaged. She was always the one who got the spotlight, outgoing, photogenic, the favorite since childhood. Meanwhile, I've always been the reserved one. I kept to myself, followed the rules, and stayed out of trouble, and mostly got overlooked. When Chloe announced her engagement to her fiancé, David, I was truly happy for her. I wasn't bitter. I didn't want to ruin anything. But gradually, I felt myself being edged out. Anytime I tried to participate in the planning, I was brushed off. My input on decor and dresses, ignored. My offer to help organize things, politely rejected. The message was clear: you're not really part of this. And then one evening, I got a call from my mom. Her voice was strangely stiff. Jenna, we need to talk about the wedding, she said. I remember freezing. Okay, what's going on? She took a breath. Chloe's worried there might be tension, and she's decided it's better if you don't attend. At first, I couldn't speak. Wait, are you saying I'm uninvited? She's just afraid that having you there could cause unnecessary stress, my mom said, soft but firm. She's been very emotional with all the planning. It felt like someone punched me in the chest. I wasn't causing trouble. Sure, Chloe and I had disagreed over things, but I'd never once made a scene. Yet now, I was being excluded from her biggest day. I tried to hold it together. So that's it. I'm just not welcome. I know this is hard, she replied. But Chloe really believes this is best for everyone. I didn't even have words. Hurt, disbelief, and anger all swirled together inside me. I couldn't even bring myself to talk to Chloe. Every time I thought about calling her, my chest would tighten. I knew anything I said wouldn't change her mind. The damage was already done. So, after a couple of days wallowing in my apartment, I made a choice. I wasn't going to sit there feeling sorry for myself. If Chloe didn't want me at her wedding, fine. I'd take care of myself instead. I booked a spontaneous solo trip to a coastal village I'd always wanted to visit. Nothing fancy, just a quiet escape where I could clear my mind. For the next couple of weeks, I hiked, read books, and watched the waves crash without thinking about wedding drama or family guilt. On the day of the ceremony, while my family was likely busy smiling for photos and dancing to the DJ, I was walking barefoot along a quiet beach, soaking in the silence. It felt freeing. But chaos finds you, even when you're hiding. A few days into my trip, I got a call from my dad. Jenna, we need you, he said. His voice was tense. What happened? It's Chloe. She's falling apart. Something's gone wrong with the wedding. We need you to come back and help. My stomach dropped. After everything? After disinviting me, now they wanted my help? I'm sorry, I said, keeping my voice steady. But I'm not coming home. You told me I wasn't wanted. You can't expect me to drop everything now. He went quiet, then said, Jenna, please. This is serious. You're the only one who can help us fix this. We can't afford to do it without you. The gall of that request made my blood boil. But at the same time, there was a strange calm in knowing I finally had the power to say no. Dad, I said coolly, you made your decision. I'm not your backup plan. Chloe made it clear I wasn't part of this. She can deal with the fallout. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but I didn't regret it. Later that evening, my mom sent me a message. Please, Jenna, I know this got out of hand, but Chloe's begging for your help. The wedding's falling apart. We need you. I stared at her text, not responding. For once in my life, I wanted to take time before cleaning up someone else's mess. I'd spent decades being the fixer, the one who swallowed her own feelings just to keep the peace. Not anymore. The next morning, I woke up to more missed calls and messages. One from my dad stood out. Jenna, the wedding's officially canceled. Chloe's having a breakdown. We don't know what to do. Please come home. I called him. What do you mean, cancel? He sighed heavily. She panicked. Had a full-on meltdown. She told David she wasn't ready. Right there, in front of everyone. He was devastated. The guests were stunned. It's a disaster. And everything was already paid for? I asked. Yeah, he said. Every last cent, venue, vendors, deposits. And now, he paused. I could already feel where it was going. That's why we need you. We can't handle the financial mess this left us in. And Chloe's overwhelmed. She's hoping you can help cover the costs. I nearly dropped the phone. You want me to pay for a wedding I wasn't even allowed to attend? I know, he said quickly. I know how that sounds, but she's desperate. We all are. If you don't step in, we're going to be in serious trouble. I didn't respond right away, because for the first time in my life, they finally realized what I was worth. And now they had to figure out what that was going to cost them. For years, I had kept my mouth shut. But now, my hands were shaking with disbelief. Was this some kind of cruel joke? After being deliberately excluded, after they made it crystal clear that I wasn't welcome, now they were calling me for help? And not just emotional support or advice, but financial help. Serious help. They wanted me to cover half the cost of a wedding I wasn't even invited to. A wedding that had already collapsed because Claire, my sister, had a breakdown and called the whole thing off. I wanted to scream, to throw something, but I kept it together. I took a deep breath and said, Dad, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not paying a cent. Julia, please, he replied, his voice trembling with stress. This isn't just about Claire. It's about all of us. We're in trouble here. You're the only one who can make this right. I had to set the phone down for a moment just to process the audacity of what I was hearing. It was unbelievable. When I picked it back up, my voice shook, but I was firm. You're asking me to fix something I had no part in. You made the decision to cut me out. Claire chose to leave me out. Now you want me to foot the bill? That's not how this works. He didn't respond at first, but I could hear the gears turning in his head, trying to come up with something to sway me. But there was no angle, no spin that could justify this. And then he dropped the line that broke the last thread holding me back. I don't want this to ruin our relationship, Julia. But if you refuse, I'm not sure things will ever be the same with the family. There it was. A not-so-subtle threat. An ultimatum disguised as a plea. If I didn't give them what they wanted, I'd be cut off. That was it for me. You know what, Dad? I said coldly. If you're expecting me to pay for half of this disaster, forget it. I've spent my entire life being treated like the backup plan. I've always been the one who cleaned up the mess, who stepped in when no one else would. But not this time. I'm done. There was a long, painful silence before he finally muttered, Don't do this. Claire's not okay. She needs you. She'll figure it out. I snapped and hung up. A wave of emotions surged through me. Rage, hurt, relief. I had finally said what I'd always been too scared to say. I wasn't their problem solver anymore. But of course, it didn't end there. The messages poured in. My mom, my dad, distant aunts and uncles, all pleading with me to reconsider, reminding me of all they'd done for me, telling me that family sticks together. The guilt started creeping back in, but I refused to let it take root. And then Claire reached out. A long message. Just the kind of desperate, passive-aggressive appeal I expected from her. Julia, please. I know things went wrong, but we're drowning over here. This has become a nightmare. If you don't help, I don't know what we're going to do. I just stared at the screen. Anger, sadness, disgust, mostly disappointment. Because this wasn't just about the wedding. It was about years of being sidelined, used, and expected to quietly accept it. I read her words over and over. You're the only one who can help. That line summed it all up. They didn't want me. They wanted what I could provide. Again. And I wasn't going to do it anymore. Not this time. Not ever again. After an hour of sitting with my thoughts, I finally typed back. Claire, I've thought a lot about what you said, but I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to pay for something I wasn't included in. I wasn't part of the plans, the celebration, or the family when it mattered, and I won't be your fallback now. I'm stepping away from all of this. From you. From them. I don't need this family in my life anymore. And I sent it. My heart pounded. My whole body felt like it was buzzing. A small voice in the back of my head panicked, wondering what I'd just done. But a louder voice, the one I had buried for years, said, finally. The texts and calls exploded immediately. First my mom, then my dad, then Claire. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I sat in my apartment, lights low, listening to the sound of my phone buzzing like a hive of angry bees. And for once, I didn't feel obligated to do anything about it. But the drama wasn't done. 2 days later, I was sitting on my couch, trying to read, when the doorbell rang. I froze. I wasn't expecting anyone. I got up, peeked through the window, and my stomach dropped. It was my parents. Both looked like they hadn't slept in days. My mom's makeup was smudged. My dad looked completely drained. I opened the door just a few inches. What are you doing here? Please, Julia, my mom whispered, her voice breaking. Just let us explain. I didn't budge. Explain what? That you shut me out, then begged me to fix what you broke. We didn't mean to push you away, my dad said quietly. We didn't know how badly we'd hurt you until it was too late. I shook my head. You didn't know? Really? All these years, and it never crossed your minds. They both looked down, ashamed. You made me feel invisible for most of my life, I said, my voice cracking. Like I only mattered when you needed something. My mom sobbed. Claire's falling apart. We're scared. We don't know what to do. And for a split second, I felt that old urge to step in, to fix it. But I stopped myself. You think I haven't lived scared for years? I said quietly. You think I don't know what it feels like to feel left out? You think I haven't needed you, only to be ignored? They had nothing left to say, because the truth had finally landed. I wasn't the helper anymore. I was the one walking away. We were wrong, Julie, my mom said, her voice shaky and strained. We shouldn't have excluded you. We didn't understand how badly we'd hurt you. I looked at both of them, my mother and father, standing in front of my doorway like two strangers. Well, I said coolly, now you do? Now you finally see how far it's gone. They exchanged a glance. My mom looked like she was holding back tears. Please, Julie, she begged. I know we made mistakes, but you can't just walk away from your family. I shook my head. That's where you're wrong. You've been turning your back on me for years. Every time something needed fixing, it was me who did it. I was always the one holding everything together. And the first time I stand up for myself, you expect me to rush in and fix your mess again. I let out a breath. Not this time. I'm not the glue anymore. You made your decisions. Now you can live with them. They stood in stunned silence, clearly not expecting me to speak with that kind of finality. I could feel the tremble in my chest, but I held my ground. I'm not your backup anymore, I said. And I'm not sacrificing my life for people who've made it clear they only want me when I'm convenient. I deserve better. My dad opened his mouth like he was going to say something, maybe apologize, maybe plead, but nothing came out. For the first time, he really looked at me. And without a word, he turned around and walked off the porch. My mother followed, quiet and pale. At first, I didn't feel relief. Just heaviness, exhaustion, sadness. But later that night, sitting on my couch alone, something inside me shifted. Peace. Actual peace. Not the fake kind that comes from swallowing your feelings and going along with everyone else. Real peace. The kind that settles in when you finally choose yourself. For the next few days, everything was quiet. No texts. No missed calls. And even though I kept checking my phone every hour, there was no one on the other end anymore. The absence of their constant drama felt strange, but freeing. Then, a week later, a message from Claire lit up my screen. Short. Cold. I thought you were better than this. But I guess we were right all along. You've always been selfish, Julie. Don't bother coming to the reunion this summer. You're not welcome. I stared at her words longer than I'd like to admit. They cut deeper than I expected. Not because they were true, but because they confirmed something I already knew. No matter what I did, they would always rewrite the story to make me the villain. I didn't reply. I deleted the message and walked away from my phone. A few more days passed. Missed calls from my mom. Then my dad. I let them ring. The guilt tried to creep in, but it wasn't guilt for walking away. It was grief, really. Grieving a family that never made room for me. A family that always needed me, but never saw me. Then, on the third day of silence, there was a knock at my door. I peeked through the blinds. My mom. She was standing in the driveway, clutching her purse, looking like she hadn't slept in days. I hesitated, but I opened the door. Julie, she said softly, her voice cracking. Please. I know we hurt you, but we don't know what to do. Claire's a wreck. The whole wedding's spiraling. We need you. I stood in the doorway, numb. She wasn't here to apologize. She wasn't here to take accountability. She was here because she needed something. No, I said, my voice clear. I'm not doing this anymore. I've always been the fixer, the problem solver, the one you lean on. But now I'm walking away. You've had years of chances. You used them up. Tears welled up in her eyes as she stepped forward. Julie, we're your family. Don't leave us like this. I swallowed hard. My chest ached, but I stayed rooted. You've had my time, my energy, my forgiveness. But not anymore. You only come to me when everything falls apart, but you never ask how I'm doing. You never offer anything back. I'm not doing this guilt game with you. I choose me now. Her expression cracked. The mask she always wore, the one of the warm, devoted mother, shattered. She looked at me not with love, but with disappointment. You'll regret this, she whispered, voice barely audible. I didn't reply. I slowly closed the door, and it stayed shut. It wasn't easy. Not at all. I knew they'd twist the story. I'd be the villain at family gatherings. The selfish one. The cold one. The girl who let her family fall apart. But that night, sitting in the stillness of my apartment, I realized something that brought tears to my eyes. I wasn't carrying their burdens anymore. I was free. In the weeks that followed, the silence stretched. No more calls. No more guilt trips. Just quiet. And in that quiet, I healed. I started spending time with people who actually cared about me. Took small trips to places I'd always wanted to see. I reconnected with friends who hadn't seen me in years. I picked up hobbies I forgot I loved. I laughed again, genuinely. And then one evening, my phone buzzed. It was from Claire. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't demanding. It was simple. I miss you. I don't know how it got so bad. I wish things were different. I stared at the message. And for a moment, I almost replied. But I remembered everything. And I remembered what it took to finally feel okay. So I typed out a message slowly, one I never thought I'd send. I wish they were different too. But I'm taking care of myself now. I hope one day you'll understand. I hit send. And then I put the phone down. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting for an apology. I wasn't clinging to the past. I was finally, truly, choosing peace. And that peace came from walking away.